Hi guys, welcome back to Daily Dreamer. Thanks so much for coming and hanging out with me, sharing a dream or two. I'm just going to get right to this one. I've been having some great dreams lately. Very detailed, very real dreams. You should leave me a comment or two and let me know how your dreams have been for you lately. Okay, so let's go. So I wake up and I come to you and I am in a trailer. A trailer, I mean a massive trailer, like mobile home. And the trailer has a lot of people in it. They're all sharing rooms. They're all chattering it up. And there's a gentleman behind me, and he and I are chattering. I guess making small talk until whatever has been made known is made known. So I see everyone start to assemble together in one of the rooms, one of the main rooms. So I follow suit, and the gentleman follows behind me. When I walk into the room, there is a lady that is standing. She is above everyone else, so maybe on a podium. I don't know what it was, but she was up there, and she had like a white collar on, blue robe. She stood up, kind of like she was a judge, but she definitely was not a judge. The impression that I got was that she was a teacher. She was waiting for something to take care of somebody, is what she said, because I remember asking myself, wonder what we're doing here, and wonder what she's doing. She says, well, I'm waiting. She answers me telepathically. I am waiting to take care of somebody who's going to meet up with you guys later. And so I was like, okay, well, we're just going to wait here and hang out. So she addresses what she has to address, and then she makes the announcement. Someone else was going to be joining us later, but until then, she was going to go ahead and hand out the assignments. So she does. She hands out everyone their assignments. I get mine, and I open it up. I don't really see anything down there. But then again, I wasn't really focused on that because the gentleman behind me said to me, do you want to ride on my way to my assignment? I can drop you off where you need to go. And I thought, well, that'd be great. I'd like to get this done and taken care of. So we jump in the car. Now, mind you, he's a cop. We get outside, and it's very interesting because we get outside, and it's the most beautiful scene you can imagine. Beautiful trees. You can hear the birds. You can see the different variations of color, green. Just a beautiful scene. Springtime. So we get in the car, and I get this feeling that we're married, like we're husband and wife. I don't know why, but that's the feeling that I got when I got into the cop car. And it was kind of cool, actually. I wasn't in back like a prisoner. I was actually sitting next to him. Anyways, on our way to being dropped off, he gets a distress call, and he's supposed to take care of a lady who needs help. He says, no problem, I'm right over here. I'll go ahead and take care of it. Do you mind? It's just a side distraction. We'll get to your destination here in just a moment. Not a problem at all. We're going to help someone else. Now, mind you, on our way down this freeway to reach this lady, it starts to turn season. So it starts turning fall, and I see the leaves falling. I'm thinking, well, that was quick. Okay, maybe we're right in mid-season. Further on down the highway, it starts to turn into winter. We get another distress call from the radio, and the radio says that there's a tree down. And he says, well, right here, I'll take care of it. I'm thinking, goodness gracious, if we take care of any more calls, I'm not going to be able to reach my destination to do my assignment. Well, he telepathically must have heard my concern because he reassures me again, no, we'll get you to your destination. Just hang on. We can't go anywhere anyways because the tree is down. Look. And I look, in this huge, massive hardwood tree is just laying right there in the road. And you could see where the roots had come up. And there were a lot of roots. But how he pulls over is what concerned me. Because he pulls over to the side of the road so that he can address the tree. He tells me to stay inside the car. I'm looking outside the door at the ground where the roots are, where he parked. Because I remember thinking, I wonder how he's going to get off of this root structure that he backed up onto. There's no way he's going to be able to get off there without hurting his car. And as I'm focused on that, the next thing you know, he comes in, he sits down, he says, done taking care of, let's go ahead and help that lady. But you know what? I think I could drop you off first. And I was like, oh, that's great. Now, no longer concerned with the roots, I was amazed because this huge, massive tree was just suddenly gone. And the only thing that was left was the indentation from where it had fallen. And I thought, what on earth did he do with the tree? And how did he do it so quickly? But then before I know it, he says, no, here you go. Here's your destination. Talk to you later. We'll meet up. We'll discuss. So I go to get out of the car. And as I get out of the car, sure enough, there's the teacher there. And I was not expecting to see her. And she says, well, how did it go? And I said, what do you mean? I have not reached my destination, so I don't know And she says, well, what do you have to report? I said, I don't have anything to report. I've not reached my destination. She said, well, it shows that your assignment is complete. So you must have done something. And I went to go ponder on it, but as I was pondering, I was whisked back to consciousness. So what a dream, right? What on earth could that have meant? I don't know. Let's go find out, shall we? All right, guys. So what do you think the dream meant? Well, there's so many things that it could mean, but I'll tell you, when I woke up and I sat there and I pondered it, I thought to myself, it reminded me of this old ancient Chinese proverb. And the proverb says that there are many paths to the top of the mountain, but once you get there, the view is always the same. It kind of reminded me of that. Nowadays, right now, we are living in very interesting, to say the least, times. On one hand, there are changes happening on a global scale that really can no longer be ignored. But then on the other hand, it seems as though the majority of the population seem to be living their lives as if everything is just as it always is and always will be. It's like they're kind of locked up in this tunnel vision, They've got their blinders on. And maybe it's one of personal interest, maybe it's one of material interest, who knows? But what I do know is as long as we keep lying to ourselves based on conditioning or wishful thinking or suppression or denial, and we believe the lies out there, mistaking them for truth, then guess what, guys? Nothing ever really is going to change. This even goes beyond having a positive attitude, because hope in itself can be a trap and a lie to the self. Believing the lies that are out there that are positive in appearance, what it does is it blocks one's awareness and one's spiritual evolution. So you really have to pay attention even to positive lies out there. You have to always be aware. If you believe a lie, even if it seems positive and it makes you feel good, you end up giving away your own free will. And that, when you do that, that always has a spiritual implication. The world right now is suffering from lack of harmony, okay? And when that happens, it gets deeper on more complex the more deeper you go, on those planes. So we need harmony back in this world. A spiritual connection is missing here. And so how does one actually get back to that oneness with that connection of self? How does one actually bring up the connection with spiritual awakening? Okay, well, the first thing is that you got to understand that spirituality is a very extremely personal experience. It means something different for absolutely everyone. There is no one truth out there, okay, one true spiritual path. And if anyone else tells you otherwise, well, guess what? They've adopted a mindset of a religion and not of a spiritual mindset. Okay, it's that old saying, be careful who you follow. Well, in these days, it's in effect full force. Spiritual awakening is defined as the experience of wanting to enter a deeper intuitive search. Okay, often spiritual awakenings happen because of, a really bad sickness, maybe a job loss. Okay, maybe something traumatic happened in your life, or big changes occur. Maybe a marriage, maybe a birth of a baby. Spiritual awakenings can happen in all different types of situations. And when that happens, basically, suddenly the old materialistic way of life and the daily attributes of the matrix BS, it doesn't satisfy you anymore. You're craving something more, okay? You just start to question things, all right? And so guess what happens? Your spiritual quest starts. Spiritual awakenings, basically, it is the soul's cry for freedom. They want to be heard. They're tired. If you've experienced a spiritual awakening and you've come to see the lies that are in this world, then deep in your soul, you're realizing that nothing external out there will ever be able to make you happy and fulfilled in here. This realization, it leaves you craving for something more fulfilling, more rewarding, something for you deeper on a deeper level. You're craving something that's going to make you feel whole again. And so what is that? Well, we don't know, and you don't know. So you got to go on this path to find out what it is. When you have an awakening, you also go through what they call the dark night of the soul. Okay, it's a great term. It was a term that was actually originally coined in the 16th century by a Spanish monk and mystic, Saint John of the Cross. Basically, the dark night of the soul, he wrote a poem of the same name. But basically, the dark night of the soul is the experience of feeling totally disconnected from the divine. It is a severe feeling of isolation and spiritual abandonment. It is a severe spiritual depression. That's what that is. A dark night for some souls. Okay, you have to go through the darkness to get to the light, and that's no joke. Okay, unlike religion, your spiritual path is tailored exclusively to you. It's tailored to your emotional, your mental, and your spiritual needs. That means that you're on your spiritual path, and when you are on your spiritual path, it's going to shift, it's going to change, it's going to morph, it is going to evolve alongside you, okay, many times in your life. So what was once something you thought would have been enough for you, it changes, and now you're no longer interested in that. And why is that? It's because you are always changing. Okay, so it may not serve you anymore today, like it did last week or last month. When you stop going through changes, you're in what they call a state of living death, and that's not healthy for you. What matters to you is that you need to choose something that feels right and true for you. Okay, and that's always going to change because you're always changing. So don't be afraid to dabble in different areas so that you can find a different connection or a deeper connection. And then, of course, if you need to, then go ahead and commit to something that feels true and right for you. The most common approaches to spirituality, they can be done in a multitude of ways, and there are several different variations of spirituality paths that you can take. Like, for instance, one of them is an earth-based spirituality. This is a connection with the earth or the material realm, using that as a gateway to reach the divine. What do I mean by that? I mean, being a lot in nature, okay? Doing rituals, shamanism, plant medicine, crystals, herbal healing. There's a lot there in the earthly spiritual connection. There is a metaphysical based spirituality, and that is where the connection with the non-material realm, that you're using that for the gateway to with your connection for the divine. Some of those are like energy work, like Reiki and chakra healing, stuff like that. Maybe you speak with spirit guides or deity contacts. Maybe you do divinations like palmistry or tarot cards, pendulum, dowsing, etc. Maybe you do witchcraft. Maybe you do magic. Maybe you channel. Maybe you're into astrology. I mean, heck, you can do any soul retrievals. That's a metaphysical connection. There are body-based spiritualities where you use the body as a gateway to connect with the divine. So stuff like yoga, tai chi, qigong, breathwork, chanting, mantras, dancing, anything to do with the body. Okay, that's another way for you to evolve on your spiritual path. There are heart-based spirituality, okay, where you're using the heart as the gateway to connect with the divine. Examples would be devotions, prayers, gratitude, letting go, unconditional love, cultivating compassion for others, maybe finding a life purpose for yourself. How about some conscious relationships, the twin flames, soulmates, that kind of a thing. That's heartfulness right there. Serving others, that's a good one. Just anything having to do with the heart. Maybe developing your own intuitive connections. That's heart. There's mind-based spirituality. Some of those where you use the mind as the gateway can be done with meditation. You can do mindfulness. You can do visualization, self-hypnosis, contemplation, positive thinking. There's so many different ways. You can go into trance, you could do alternate states, you could do the law of attraction, you could be by yourself, that lone wolf. There's so many different ways to do mindful meditations as a gateway to the divine. There is also one more way that is really open to a lot of different interpretations, and it's kind of new, but it's where the spirituality meets psychology. And that's interesting because we're always being told to let go of the ego, but in this particular case, you take the two and you interweave them. So it's really interesting. They refer to it as psychospirituality. Psychospirituality is a combination of the heart and mind, heaven and earth, East and West practices. Some common psychospiritual inner work includes stuff like journaling, automatic writing, art, dream work, learning how to love yourself, that's self-love, doing inner child work, shadow work, astral travel, that's active imagination, hypnotherapy, okay, trauma work, that's a good one, okay, but it is impossible to sit here and tell you every type of different spiritual path because it's different for everybody. Everybody's going to get a different assignment. Everyone's going to go their own way. They're going to find their own way on their own time. So you don't need to worry about being late, but you might want to hurry up. No, you don't need to worry about being late, getting to your destination. It'll be there for you when you're ready. But remember, spirituality is like a tree. There are many branches out there, but some of them are just closer to the trunk, to the core of the tree. So it doesn't really matter. The ultimate goal of spirituality, guys, is awakening your oneness, your being, and coming to the point of liberation from your own personal suffering. That is truly being free. Okay, so that's why it's important that you sit there and you take 5 minutes a day for yourself. Okay, your soul, your spirit is crying for freedom, for attention. Okay, it is up to you to go ahead and figure out what the ultimate spiritual goal is for you and what practices are going to help you get there. Okay, that's the greatest joy that comes with walking your own spiritual path. So what is actually stopping you guys? Fear? Well, then guess what? Face your fear. Okay, if it doesn't suit you and it doesn't serve you for your greatest or highest purpose, then stop making it your master. Guys, until next dream, thanks so much for joining me for Daily Dreamer. Many blessings to you and sweet dreams.